Hello, welcome to Chantel's Homeschool. I'm Chantel, mom to 7, and currently homeschooling 5 of my 7. My oldest 2 have graduated and left our home. So today I kind of wanted to chat about how things have been going in our home this year. We took a pretty good long summer break because we had so many things going on. We adopted our kiddos. We had some baptisms and many other family activities that we did. And so this summer was absolutely crazy. So the start of the school year was quite difficult. I didn't feel like I was ready to start, but we started anyways. Looking back, I really think we should have waited until September to start, but we didn't. So sometimes you have to live and learn, I guess. So one of the difficulties that we've had is just scheduling. My son's dyslexia therapy is at 11 this year, and I thought that that was going to be a good thing. And it's been good on one hand, but it's been hard on another because it breaks up our day a little too much, and nobody wants to start back when we come back. So I've got to figure that out. Another hard thing is my kids are involved in more activities this year. We took a whole year off of doing any extracurricular activities. And this year I have a son in cross country, 1 in soccer, and 2 girls in dance. And between all of those things, we're busy just about every day of the week. And that can be a lot sometimes. Besides those activities, my kids are very active in our church youth group. And so a couple nights a week, they're gone to that as well. So I feel like we just have a lot more things to navigate this year, and we're still trying to figure it out 4 weeks into the school year. One difficulty that we have had is with science. I have my older daughter doing the Good and the Beautiful high school biology, and there is nothing wrong with this course. We absolutely love it. It's just about everything that I wanted in a high school science. I also have my 11-year-old doing apology of botany. We love this course. It's been really good. He's enjoyed, everything he's been doing in it. With these two combined, I'm having a hard time scheduling both of my kids. If I remember to have my son do this, my daughter forgets. And this one needs to be done 4 days a week. And this one can be done 2 days a week, but it's just more work those 2 days. And I'm finding we're having a hard time only doing it 2 days a week because we're not completing everything. And I really don't want to spend more than a year on this unit. And for this one, she's just having a hard time getting to it 4 days and doesn't want to double up. So I've got to figure that out. There's nothing wrong with either curriculum. I love it. I feel like with the scheduling thing that I mentioned earlier, we're just having a difficult time trying to figure out how to not do family science and also go to all of these extra activities. So we may go back to doing a family style unit study for science. I have a daily checklist for them that I created, and so they should really be following that. But I'm realizing while my older 3 followed those checklists great, my younger ones are having a harder time following those checklists. So I've got to figure out a way to make them more accountable for the things that they need to do. And that might mean making them accountable for their math and language arts, and then doing a family science and history. Another similar issue is with the history. So I'm having my younger 2, we're working through this, and I'm finding it's really difficult for me to navigate an older children's history and the younger ones. My older ones are supposed to be doing it on their own, but I'm finding that that just isn't happening. So I kind of have been bouncing around between this one, including all the kids, and this one. But my older 2 really don't care for these because they're so much younger than they are. 14-year-old and 11-year-old are just having a harder time wanting to do this because they think they're so much older than they are. If you have older kids, you understand that sometimes they want to do older kid things and not the younger kid things. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this from Little School of Smiths. I love her and her studies. These are so fun. And my kids haven't complained about the activities. It's more the readings that they're not loving so much because they feel like it's so young. So when I started to try to add in the Playful Pioneers, we kind of ran into the same issue they felt like the things were just a little too young for them. And granted, they're in 6th grade and 9th grade, so it's not meant for their ages. It's really not. So there's nothing against either of these. It's just my kids. So I have been playing around with the idea of going back to the Good and the Beautiful history. We loved their history course when we did it years ago with my older kids. And now that they have their new one, it's just so much more colorful and very similar content. And I could use the older high school explorers for my 14-year-old if we did do this. So I'm really leaning heavily towards doing the Good and the Beautiful history, because then we could do it family style and do it twice a week. And that would really be a lot simpler for us at this point. And then I would just include activities from our favorite guide here and from the Peaceful Press guides, because they have really fun activities. And since the Good and the Beautiful goes through history from start to finish, just focusing on different parts of it, I can pull from various sources. So I'm really leaning towards that right now. I haven't fully decided what we're going to do, so you'll have to stay tuned to see what we do. If you're on Instagram, you saw that we might be switching, that I talked about switching my son from Saxon Math 2 to Saxon Math 3. And originally I thought that that is what I was going to do. I actually copied a few sheets for my daughter just to see how it would work. And I realized something really quickly about Saxon Math. And that is that Saxon Math is deceptively hard. It looks really easy from the outside, but there's a lot of logic built in that is natural, and that is something that you use every day. And he was not prepared for the level of that everyday logic in level 3, even though the concepts in level 2 are a little bit easier and he has been flying through it. I really feel like he's not ready for level 3, because those couple of days that we did it was a struggle. And if you know Saxon Math, the beginning of these K through 3 courses should be really easy. The first 40 or so lessons are review. And if it's hard at the beginning, it's only going to get harder at the end. So I realized really quickly that level 2 is exactly where he needs to be. And so I'm not going to be switching him from that. Something else that was a struggle with my daughter is we were doing the Good and the Beautiful spelling that came with level 3, only she became really frustrated with it. And we had some similar problems with her that I did with my 11-year-old. And so I realized that the spelling for level 3 just wasn't going to work from the Good and the Beautiful. So we went ahead and we dropped it, and we are only doing Evan Moore. And we're liking it okay. I really enjoy the way that they do the spelling in this. They have like a list. And then throughout the week, it has very simple activities. Although, again, these activities are deceptively hard. It uses a lot of common sense logic. And I'm finding it's harder for my kids to do that because they've never done this before. So I think we'll stick with this year, but for sure, I think we'll switch to Phonetic Zoo probably next year or maybe next semester. One other thing that I have been considering this week is starting our homeschool day later. So since my son goes to dyslexia therapy at 11, 4 days a week, he comes back about 12. And then I have to take him to cross country at 3:15. Something I am considering doing is starting our homeschool day when he comes back. That's when our real work would begin. And we're going to go ahead and try that this next week so I can see kind of how that works. Another reason I'm considering that, which I haven't mentioned, is my 2 older kids have a church seminary class, and they get back about 7:45 to 8. And that kind of throws off our day. They have to get up before 6 to get ready for it. And those 2 are just so tired when they come back that I often let them go and take a nap for another half hour or an hour. And so it's just a lot of coming and going in the morning. And I'm wondering if schooling after lunch might be better. We're going to be trying that as a trial this next week, and I'll let you know how it goes. I'm hopeful, though, that it's going to make our school day more cohesive and not so scattered. I also think that's why my older kids have been having a harder time doing their individual stuff, is because I'm constantly going here, going there, back and forth, not with different kids, but taking them to different activities. So I'm really hopeful that this will help make our day more cohesive. I've never done afternoon homeschool before, so I don't know how this is going to go or if we're even going to like it. So it's something I'm definitely curious to see what the outcome of this will be. I'm curious to know if you've ever done afternoon school or if you currently are. How did it go? How did you manage things like homeschool activity groups? They always seem to be like here, they always seem to start at about 1. So I'm curious if you've done this before and how you've made it work for your family. I'd love to hear what you've done in the comments. I'm always looking for fresh ideas. I do not have all the answers. That is not why I have a YouTube channel. I just enjoy sharing what we're doing, what works and what doesn't work. And it's a great opportunity for me to learn from you guys. So I'd really love to hear any advice that you have. Please like and subscribe to my channel so you can get updates whenever I update videos. I love to share with you guys, and I don't want you to miss anything. I hope your day was great, and we will see you next time. Bye.